Deliver 2025, and it was a good one. I just got finished watching it and my throat hurts. But it's your boy Icon with the wrestling, happy WrestleMania weekend to everybody. We're here to talk about a little wrestling for you. Before you get started, hit that notification bell, like it or subscribe. Check out my other videos. Let's help get those watch time hours up. Trust me, because we're going to be sitting here doing this wrestling all weekend. Let's get started with NXT Stand and Deliver, which kicked off the show. So we had a pre-show match. We finally had a pre-show match, thankfully. And it was for the women's #1 contendership for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, I'm going to say this. They should have, first of all, let's just get this out the way. If you have a 2-hour pre-show, in this case a 3-hour pre-show because it's 4 o'clock right now, you see the pre-show behind me on the television screen. So if the show starts at 7 and the pre-show starts at 4 and the Street Profits, Lyra Valkyria, and Chelsea Green aren't defending their championships, you're basically gonna tell me that between Saturday and Sunday, 6 hours of pre-show talking, you could not have had these 3 people defending their championship belts. Anyway, this match is to determine the #1 contendership for the Women's Tag Team Championships. So it's the Meta Girls, Fatal Influence. It's also Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. They made up the final tag team. I didn't know it was an elimination tag. As soon as I found out it was an elimination tag, I said, watch the black girls get pinned first, and that's exactly what happened. The Meta Girls look good. Everybody had the Meta Girls. Like, everybody was picking the Meta Girls to win this, but once the Meta Girls got pinned, because they took the pin first because they black, once the Meta Girls got eliminated from the match, you automatically knew that Tatum Paxley and Gigi were winning because currently the women's tag team champions are Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They're not going to lose those tag team titles to a makeup team of Lyra. Like, it's not even the fact that they're a makeshift tag team. Lyra is the current women's Intercontinental Champion. They're not going to have her have 2 belts. So they're not going to have her and Bayley be a tag team while she's still the Intercontinental Champion. So they're not going to win. Liv and Raquel, and plus Liv, Liv had she had like one hell of a year. So Liv is going to win. Like, Liv and Raquel are going to win. They're going to retain, and then they're going to fight Gigi and Paxley and Tatum Paxley, which makes sense because that's a babyface tag team versus a heel tag team. So that was pretty much what happened. Like I said, it went through. Roxanne Perez quit on Cora Jade during the match. That's how they got eliminated. And then it came down to Fatal Influence versus Tatum and Gigi, and Tatum and Gigi won. So now at some point, and that was another thing. Because we should have got Lyra versus Bayley 1-on-1 at WrestleMania, you could have had the winners of this, Tatum and Gigi. They could have fought Liv and Raquel on WrestleMania Sunday. I'm like, I don't understand why we didn't do that. We could have had it where the winner of the #1 contender the winner of the #1 contenders tag team Fatal 4-Way fights the champion Sunday at WrestleMania. That would have been good for NXT. That would have been good for Gigi and Tatum, and it would have given Liv and Raquel like a strong team to beat and have a good showing. It's like they did what they did just to get Lyra and Bayley on the card because those were the 2 biggest names that they had, but they're not a real tag team, but that's why nobody cares. But anyway, congratulations to Tatum and Gigi. Too bad you're not going to win the tag team championships. I wish I would have had this match at WrestleMania, but I am looking forward to see you guys having this match when it finally happens. So then the show started. The show kicks off with Ricky Saints versus All Ego Ethan Page for the North American Championship. Ricky Saints just won the North American Championship 2 weeks ago. He was not going to lose in the opening match at Stand and Deliver. So you already knew that was a dub for Ricky Saints. He got the victory. And now that we've gotten All Ego Ethan Page out, I would assume that Ethan Page is getting called up after WrestleMania because I don't see what else he's going to do at this point. He was already champion. He was already NXT champion. So unless he's going to pick a fight with Obafemi and Obafemi going to kill him, like, I don't see what else there is for him to do. But Ricky Saints he can still defend that North American Championship. So this was his breakout party. Kudos to him, and we're moving on to the next match, which was the Tag Team Championship match, Fraxium versus Hank and Tank, and for the love of God, Hank and Tank won them damn belts. It was funny, because when you look back, Hank and Tank's whole storyline was built off of them losing, them being the rookie guys, the rookie tag team, and they were taking L after L after L after L after L. They kept losing. And it got to the point where they were just like, why are we still here? Why are we still wrestling? And then they kept getting encouragement from tag teams that were on the main roster, trying to big them up and trying to tell them, keep fighting, do what you got to do. They did it so much to the point where once they won that gauntlet match, I said, shit, they're winning these fucking belts. And, but it was a good match. It was a good match. And Fraxium is now fractured. And, the tag team of Hank and Tank, they're the new NXT Tag Team Champions. So kudos to them. I'm looking forward to seeing their run because Fraxium, like, they've been acting weird for a while. So I mean, their reign, it's been long enough. Like, it's been long enough. So it's like either have them do singles things now or bring one of them up and keep the other one on NXT. But like I said, it was good. I said I'm happy for Hank and Tank. Where's OTM? Does anybody know what? Like, in the comment section, what happened to OTM? Like, we still trying to get out the mud or what? But like I said, kudos to Hank and Tank, and we'll see what they have to say for themselves on Tuesday. Next up, we had the women's ladder match to crown a new North American Women's Champion. All my money was on Kalani Jordan. Kalani Jordan did not win. So now, and I just need to get this out of the way, if Kalani Jordan did not become a 2-time Women's North American Champion, she needs to move on now to fight for the NXT Women's Championship, and she needs to get out of the mid-card. It was like either put the belt back on her or catapult her into the main title picture. She needs to be in that main title picture now. But the winner of the match, and then what was the other girl? The girl that's with Shawn Spears. I forgot she was in the damn match. So that to me that was a surprise. And then they did the chick Zarya, like. I'm sorry, I've been disappointed with Zarya ever since she got brought up to the main roster because in her vignettes, the way they portrayed her, they made Zarya seem like she was going to be this unstoppable monster and this unstoppable force. They brought Zarya damn near, she walked from wherever it is she lived all the way to NXT in Orlando. So we had Zarya, we got Jordan Grace, we got Stephanie Valkyrie, and we had Julia with a G. And with the four of them coming in and taking over, Zarya is the one that's been the letdown. It's like they stuck her in a tag team with Sol Ruka, and Sol Ruka won the women's North American Championship. So I'm like, so? And then Zara basically like pep talked her into beating her. So they turned an unstoppable monster into like some sensitive, like cutesy, sympathetic being, and I don't like that. Like, I really don't like. I wanted to see her destroy a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see, like, all this patty cake shit. So now like their tag team is over, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really happy with Sol Ruka. Like, I would have preferred either Lola Vice, or I'll even go as far as to say the chick from Chase U. I forgot her damn name, but I would have preferred like one of the two of them if it wasn't going to be Kalani. Because the thing is, Sol Ruka's not impressed. Like, Sol Ruka's corny to me. She's a one-trick pony. It's like because she has like the reverse RKO, people think she's better than she actually is, but her in-ring work is like, it's too goofy. Like that surfboard thing where she stands on your back, that shit is trash. If she's going to be a champion now, I need her to take this shit a little bit more seriously. I need her to cut like all this beatnik, like hippie shit. And I need her to actually like step up, put the goofy stuff, like, because it's not like I can be sold on Sol Ruka. She just got to start taking this shit more seriously. But, but congratulations to her. At least it's someone new. It's someone different. Like I said, Kalani was the best choice for the first ever North American Women's Champion. But now I want to see her in the main title picture. And, Sol Ruka has a shitload of challengers now. One of them I hope is Zara. I hope Zara turns on her and then beats her and takes her belt. But we'll see what happens as NXT concludes on Tuesday. Then we had the 6-man tag. It was the new faction, the Mutiny faction versus the Don and everybody, and they've been doing this whole weird underboss thing versus the boss versus the underboss thing. I don't understand their beef. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. At the end of this match, the underboss basically turned on the Don. He kicked him in the nuts, and then he helped the other team get the victory. And I'm going to be honest, I don't understand what the motivation was for his heel turn. I thought maybe he was behind the other 4 guys. Like, maybe he was the one that put them together. He was their leader, and this was all a setup. But he didn't hug them. He didn't celebrate with them. Rizzo was just like, "Why'd you do it, huh?" And then he just left. And then they tried to interview him, and then he just got in his car and dipped. But I don't. This was weird to me. This seemed like they just did this just to get these parties on the show, but I don't see the point in breaking up like the D'Angelo family. And like I said, if Stax wasn't going to be the leader of that group, I'm like, what was the point? It's weird. It's very weird, but that's why we tune in. That's why we keep watching the show, because just, hopefully they'll have a good reason for it and it won't be just something stupid, and, we can make sense of all this. But I want to hear what he has to say too. Like, I want to see everybody's reaction. Maybe the Don gets a new member. Caruso, I know he's in Evolve, so I don't know. Maybe they're about to call Don Tony up and, they're breaking up the band. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. Then we had the Women's World Heavyweight NXT Championship match, which was Stephanie Julia with a G, Jada Parker, who don't play, and Jordan in your face Grace. And it's sad that Jada Parker was the only homegrown talent in this match. Because, again, it just seemed like once they brought in these 4 girls from the outside, they just moved all the homegrown talent to the mid-card so they can push these indie girls, and I don't like that. Jada Parker only snuck through because they shitted on Zara ever since she's been on the main roster, but I feel like Zara was originally supposed to have that spot, and then they gave it to Jada Parker because Jada Parker don't play. And I understand that Stephanie just won the belt recently. Like, she's been champion for like a month and a half, but it would have been nice. It would have done a lot for the hearts of the NXT faithful, for the homegrown NXT talent in the back, for the fans that have been following NXT since the beginning. It would have done our hearts justice if Jada Parker would have defeated the 3 indie girls or the girls from other promotions. Like, it would have been nice to see that homegrown talent come out with the victory. They used to do the same thing with the Velveteen Dream, where he was the homegrown talent, and he was constantly taking on guys that were being brought in from other places, and he always lost all of his matches. But Stephanie got the pin, and then what makes it worse, Stephanie got the pin on Jada Parker. So now Jordan Grace and Julie can be like, well, you didn't pin me, and then that just like pushes Jada Parker to the side. And I don't want to see Jada Parker get called up yet because she still has work to do on NXT. If Kalani Jordan never gets a chance to become NXT Women's Champion, at least she can say she was the first ever Women's North American Champion. Jada Parker never got that championship reign yet, and I don't want to see her called up until she gets that championship reign. But, I mean, I enjoyed the match. I was just disappointed in the outcome. But I guess we'll have to, we'll see where the direction goes because Jada Parker showed up and showed out. So she proved why she deserves to be in that situation. And I hope they take note of that. And eventually when Stephanie finally does lose the belt, they put that belt on Miss Parker. So we'll see. And then finally, the last match of the night was the NXT Men's Heavyweight Championship match. Javon Evans versus Trick Williams versus Obafemi. And somebody had posted on social media a picture of all 3 of them standing next to each other. And they said that Javon Evans, Trick, and Obafemi looks like the first, second, and final evolutionary stage of a Pokemon. And I started dying. I immediately started dying. Javon Evans was clearly the star of this show. Like, I would have loved to have seen a one-on-one match between Trick Williams and Obafemi. Trick has not had a lot of one-on-one matches during his title reign and after it. He's been in a lot of like fatal 4-ways and triple threats, and he keeps losing as a result of multi-man matches. There was even a moment where he got tired of the bullshit and he pulled the referee out of the ring. And then there was a moment where the referee went to go do the 3 count, and then Obafemi grabbed the referee by the belt and wouldn't let the referee do the pin, and the referee had to kick Obafemi off him so he could do the pin. But Javon Evans, this motherfucker was everywhere. Like, you're a bouncing baby boy. Like, he did the cutters, he did the spins, he did the rolls. Like I said, although I wanted to see a one-on-one matchup between these two, Javon Evans actually made this match more interesting than it probably would have been. And we got to give him credit for that. I mean, like, he's not here yet. Like, he's the future, he's not the present, but he's definitely on the way. And tonight he showed the entire world what he can do when given an opportunity. You would have to think by now, because Trick didn't get pinned, you would have to think now he's going to challenge Oba one-on-one. But you also have to think Trick is getting called up at this point because you went for the belt, you took your shot, and you missed. What is left for you to do now? The only thing left for you to do is just to have that one-on-one match with Obafemi, and then after you lose, then you get called up to SmackDown because they desperately need the roster help. Like I said, Obafemi won the match because Trick went for the trick shot. I miss when they called it the trick knee, but he hit him with the trick shot, and then Obafemi came in, he picked up Trick and powerbombed him on top of Evans, and then he powerbombed Evans, and then the Ruler got the 1-2-3 victory, and then afterwards he was talking mad shit. He's talking all that shit, and then he was talking to Trick, but Trick had always said, "You didn't pin me, motherfucker," and then the two of them can settle their beef. Roxanne Perez rolled up on Stephanie backstage, and they were like talking Spanish to each other in a very nasty way. And then Ava told her to get out of here. And then Stephanie said to Ava, she said, I want Roxanne Perez Tuesday. So that's going to be Roxanne's final match on NXT. She's going to lose to Stephanie. She's going to get her na goodbye. And then we're going to see her on Raw or SmackDown. But that was pretty much it. That was how NXT ended. I give the show an 8.5 because I really enjoyed it. And thank you for tuning in. So what was your favorite match of the night? I mean, to me, it was the main event. Like, the main event was definitely, like, the match of the night. You know, like, I definitely did enjoy it. There were a lot of surprises. It was some good wrestling, especially starting at 1 p.m. And then, you know, the fact that we got the Meta Girls on the show, like, I'm happy about that. And, you know, even to have a pre-show match, at least NXT is doing what the main roster should be doing, which is using this pre-show for something, you know, like for something important. But share your questions, comments, and concerns down below. What did you think about NXT Stand and or Deliver? What was your favorite match? Who are you happy for? Who got the victory? Who are you sad for that tasted defeat? And we'll continue to talk about it. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. Check out my Daredevil Born Again reviews that are up on my channel. Check out my review for Captain America, Brave New World. And we got night 1 of WrestleMania coming up tonight. And I will post my review for that probably at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And we can enjoy the review for WrestleMania. And I hope to talk about it and review it with all of you. So that was it, guys. So thank you for tuning in. So till tonight, when we review night 1 of WrestleMania, take care. NXT for life. And until then, we're out this bitch.